Hello, I'm Minister Duff, and this is Freedom Wings Ministries Corporation. Freedom Wings Ministries Corporation. Tonight we're going to read Genesis chapter 32. Genesis chapter 32. And let us begin. And Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God met him. And when Jacob saw them, he said, "This is God's host." And he called the name of that place Mahanaim. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau, his brother, unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom. And he commanded them, saying, Thus shall ye speak unto my lord Esau, thy servant. Jacob saith thus, I have sojourned with Laban, and stayed there until now. And I have oxen and asses, flocks, and manservants and women servants. And I have sent to tell the Lord that I may find grace in thy sight. And I have sent to tell the Lord that I may find grace in thy sight. That I may find grace in thy sight. So he's saying, Lord, this is everything that you've given me. I'm blessed to have it. I am blessed to know you. I'm finding grace in worshiping you. I'm finding grace in worshiping you. Let's see. Number 6. And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, We came to thy brother Esau, and also he cometh to meet thee, and 400 men with him. Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and his brother and people that was with him, and the flocks and herds and the camels, unto 2 bands. He separates the flocks and the herds and the camels into 2 bands. So there's 2 different groups of the population of what he brings. And said unto Esau, Come to the one company and smite it, and then the other company which is left shall escape. So if there is threat brought on to one aspect of the animals, the others will get away with the group of humans that they're with. So if there's trouble among one group, the other group will get away. And Jacob said, O God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, the Lord which saideth unto me, Return unto thy country and to thy kindred, and I will deal with thee. I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies and of all the truth which thou hast showed unto thy servant. For with my staff I passed over this Jordan, and now I am become 2 bands. Deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he will come and smite me and the mother with the children. He'll come and smite me and the mother with the children. So Jacob is saying he is afraid of Esau. He's afraid. And so he's reaching out to God and saying, God, I know you're with me. I know you're here for me. Continue to be with me. Continue to be here for me. Put blessings onto my life and take away my fear of Esau. Number 12. And thou sayest, I shall surely do thy good, and make thy seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude. And he lodged there that same night, and took of what which came to his hand a present for Esau his brother, 200 she-goats, and 20 he-goats, 200 ewes, and 20 rams, 30 milch camels with their colts, 40 kine and 40 bulls, 20 she-asses, and 10 foals. And he delivered them into the hand of his servants, ever drove by themselves, and said unto his servants, Pass over before me, and put space betweeneth drove and drove. And he commanded the foremost, saying, When Esau my brother meeteth thee, and asketh thee, saying, Whose art thou, and whither goest thou, and whose are these before thee? Then thou shalt say, I be thy servant Jacob's. It is a present sent unto my lord Esau, and he, behold, also he is behind us. And so commanded he the second and the third, and all the followed the drove, saying, In this manner shall he speak unto Esau when ye find him. And say ye moreover, Behold, thy servant Jacob is behind us, for he said he will appease him with the presence that goeth before me, and afterward I will see his face. Predeventure he will accept of me. Predeventure he will accept of me. So he says that he tells them to tell Yeshua that Jacob has sent all the flocks of the animals as a present for him, as a present of worship for Jacob, from Esau, from Jacob. Let me see, number 21. So went the presents over before him, and himself lodged that night in the company. And he rose up that night, and took of his wives, and his 2 women servants, and his 11 sons, and passed over the ford Jacob. And he took them, and sent them over the brook, and sent over that he had. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh, Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. So he did not lose, but he did become damaged. They both became damaged out of their thighs from wrestling. They pulled the muscle wrestling each other pretty much. And he said, Let go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said unto him, What is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. Yes, it's a ISRA-EL, Israel. Not the country, but Jacob's new name according to Esau, according to this gentleman that he was wrestling with all night. His name shall now be Israel. For as the prince has thou power with God and with men, and has prevailed. And Jacob asked him and said, Tell me, I pray thee, thou name. And he said, Whoever is it that thou doesn't ask after my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel. It's P-E-N-I-E, Peniel. For I have seen God's face to face, and my life is preserved. Sorry, I knew that didn't make any sense, but anyway. So it was number 30. And Jacob called the name of this place Peniel, for I have seen God's face God face to face, and my life is preserved. Number 31. And as he passed over Peniel, the sun rose up upon him, and he halted upon his thigh. Therefore the children of Israel eat not of the shroon which is upon the hollow of the thigh unto this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the shroon that shrank, in the shroon that shrank. So, interesting concepts here. Jacob is afraid of Esau. He's praying to God, be with me, be with me. I take on worship within you, God. Please take away my fear, my worry, my power. Give me the power to handle my fear and my worry within Yeshua, that I give him the herds of the animals and of my worship, as that I am afraid of him, Yeshua. And so God's angels say, it's okay. Do not be afraid. And he comes within a place where he says, there's wrestling going on throughout the night with him and there appears to be a gentleman that's on this land that he's on. And after the wrestling of the night, he says, I'm going to leave. The sun is coming up, and he calls the land Peniel. And they leave, heading forth on their mission to, they're heading forth onto Israel, I believe. I think so. Alright, the land of grace. Number 8 just caught my eye. It says, and he said, what meanest thou by all the drove which I met? And he said, these are to find grace in the sight of my Lord. These are to find grace in the sight of my Lord. So it's, Jacob is definitely within an example of worshiping the Lord. Jacob is definitely an example of worshiping the Lord as he comes into Peniel. Peniel is the city that he calls, where he's passing through. Yeah, let's see. Oh, wait. I read to you number 33, section 8, just a few minutes ago. That caught my eye. It's the next lesson that caught my eye. Alright, so let's look back a little bit here now. Jacob. Alright, so number 29 in chapter 32. My bad, I read 33 a few seconds ago, chapter 8. Section 8 and 33. But this is going to be 29 in section 32. And Jacob asked him and said, tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And said, wherefore is it that thou dost ask after my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. And as he passed over Peniel, the sun rose up him, and he halted upon his thigh. Therefore the children of Israel eat not of the shroon which is upon the hollow of the thigh unto this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in thy shroon that shrunk. Little complex ending. I am fighting a very bad cold, so that is why my voice is raspy. I hope you can understand me. Anyway, so let me see. Jacob's afraid of Esau. Yeah, Jacob goes to God, his angels, and when they come to him, they say, do not fear. God is with you. We'll take care of you, and your fear with Yeshua. Just go present the herds to Yeshua, and we'll go from there. So what can we see? We can see faith on the Lord from even in as Jacob grows, faith within the Lord as Jacob grows and discovers his different places within time. He grows and discovers these different places within time where he is one, where he is becoming one within his worship with the Lord, where he's becoming one within his worship within the Lord. Now, as we read these different stories through Genesis, take a look at them and see how they infringe on your everyday life. How do you feel if you were Jacob and you had Yeshua that you were afraid was gonna harm or come after you because you had all the cattle and all of the maid servants, all the man servants that came out of, as we read the last section, that came out of being known to Yeshua, Yeshua, that that is one with God. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, someone just went in the kitchen and started water. But anyway, so what was I saying? Alright, so Jacob, yes, how strong is your faith in the Lord? How strong is your faith in the Lord? If you were Jacob, put your place in Jacob's shoes. Would you trust and believe the angels when they said, "Don't worry, give back the livestock and the women and the manservants"? Actually, he divides them in half, and he gives back half, as if there is a war or an argument or a fight or whatever, the second half can get away and prevail. That's what this story is that we see today. The second half can get away and prevail, but also the angel comes to him and says, "Do not have fear, do not have worry." So I think it explains a little bit better that time that that there's a second group that he forms. So if there's war or anguish or triumph or some kind of conquering or disturbance within Jacob's maid servants, manservants, within what he divides up and thus gives back to Yeshua through whatever means it may happen to be at whatever time it may happen to be, there is a second party. And then the angels say, "Fear not." So listen to that. The angels say, "Fear not." So take on all these different stories, look at them in your own stride. How would you do if you were Jacob? How would you do if you were Jacob? Would you have the faith of what the angel says to you? Don't worry. Would you have the faith of what the angel says to you? Don't worry. Many blessings, my friends. Many blessings.